Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today's a very special episode. We have Walea Constantinau on the line, and she is the founding Honolulu Film Commissioner of the City and County of Honolulu Film Office. And this episode is part of our AFM, so American Film Market series, where we bring you the best of those who attended and participated at AFM in Los Angeles this year, or Century City. Walea, welcome to the show.
Aloha, Adam. So privileged to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Oh, my gosh. So I definitely want to get into what you're doing as film commissioner and also what's going on at the Honolulu Film Office. But to get us started here, AFM this year, I know you attended. Is this your first time? Have you been in the past? Give me a little of the backstory. I
have been attending AFM for many, many years, in part because they bring together this amazing tapestry of creatives. I even went to the event in Las Vegas, which I know was an interesting experiment. But what I find is that this interesting sort of critical mass of creatives comes together around this event, and that just means opportunity for me and what I do. I try to make it a must-attend event each year.
Oh, that's amazing. And I was told, for those that have been to many, that this year was a really good year. That was like, wow, there was a lot of people. It kind of felt like it was back after COVID and all these other things that have taken place in the previous years. Did you get that impression? Was it a really successful event for you and your team?
You know, I absolutely got that impression. I got the sense that for a while, people were just kind of stuck waiting to start running again. And if you know anything about creatives, it's always this energy and this desire to push forward and to drive forward on the vision. And it felt like they were in a bit of a holding pattern for a while with COVID and with the other industry issues. But I think the venue had a lot to do with it as well. It was really kind of in the center of everything, very good energy, very high energy, really great speakers, panels, presenters, all of that, bringing together, as I said, that critical mass of creatives. And something really special happens when you have that many creative people coming together. It's that old adage where the sum is greater than the parts.
Oh, I totally agree with you, and you definitely capture what your explanation captures that energy. I do agree with that. I haven't heard somebody else say that yet, but that was the feeling. Like there's a holding pattern, almost. And this I can't prove, but I guess we'll see in the coming years. Is I felt like there was also just a holding pattern of like content, of scripts, of things that people have wanted to work on otherwise, and I just saw some of the projects and things, and I was watching. I'm like, oh my gosh! And the people that are pitching, some of the finished stuff, of course, was great, and I'm like, oh, I know Hollywood and some other areas, they're hurting, but it felt good to be in that room. I'm not going to lie.
It might be sort of the great reset moment that we'll look back on and say, we can feel this is when the energy came back and the purpose and the drive and the camaraderie that is this amazing collaborative business that makes things happen.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's switch it up a bit here. I want to get into, of course, what you're doing, but I want to start maybe a little bit more basic before we jump into what's going on at the Honolulu Film Office Film Commission. Maybe start basic. I don't want to assume everybody understands what a film commission even is and its importance in the film industry. So maybe let's start there.
Of course. So the Film Commission, sometimes Film Office, sometimes Film Liaison, they're the official government liaison in any particular jurisdiction. Sometimes it's at a national level, sometimes it's a state level or provincial, and sometimes it's on a local level. And the Honolulu Film Office in particular is a county level office, so a very regional, local level office.
And what's the role? What role does that play in film?
So we're a very specialized economic development entity within the government, and our goal, our raison d'etre, if you will, is to facilitate production, to streamline the process, to either market to production to attract it, as some commissions do. Some commissions deal specifically with the permitting. Some do more than one thing. Some also get involved in development. But the whole reason they exist is to facilitate the creative industries, and in particular, this kind of filming activity, whether it's on the ground filming, whether it's development of filmmakers in their area, whether it's going out and marketing and attracting business to come into an area. It's sort of an all-encompassing title, and different offices can do it all, or different offices can take bits and pieces of it.
And let's talk a little bit about just the landscape in Hawaii in particular. Are there multiple film offices or commissions, do they have the same mission? Do they work together or compete? Like, what does the Hawaii landscape look like?
Thank you for that question. It's the perfect tee-up because we always say we are 5 commissions with 1 mission. Our goal is to drive the film industry sector, to take care of those that choose to come here to do their projects, large or small, and also to elevate and bring voice and help with the vision of the local filmmakers that are trying to tell their stories from a particular perspective. So we have 5 film commissions, 1 at the state level, 1 at each of the county levels to be able to service production. So it's complete coverage across the Hawaiian Island chain.
And looking at the commissions, a lot of this episode, as I mentioned in the beginning, is going to be part of our AFM series. So a lot of filmmakers that are going to be listening to this. And talk to me about maybe some of the benefits of shooting in Hawaii. And and let's treat it kind of like a conversation. I'm a filmmaker. I'm like, hey, why would I come out there? And what are some of the benefits? Like, for those that didn't get to connect with you at AFM, talk to me.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to assume, but I think a lot of people know that we're just stunningly gorgeous. So that is certainly one of the main reasons that people look to us. But what they may not realize is we have such a variety of looks. Probably still one of my best calling cards is the show Lost, the amazing, phenomenal television series, where we had to be all these places around the world. And what that showed us was the capacity, the creativity, and the great alacrity that we have, particularly now with the way that visual effects can seamlessly blend certain things. That show was at the forefront of those visual effects being made cost-effective enough for television. So we were able to strip in the Sydney Opera House in front of our Alawa Pier and make it look like we were in Sydney. Or we were able to juxtapose certain things. So we have so many of the elements that let us be all of these amazing places around the world. What that translates to for a filmmaker, let's say you have a Hallmark movie, which we've done a number of Hallmark movies, and it usually starts out in sort of a cold place, a snowy place, and it then migrates into a blue sky kind of environment, which is ultimately us. We have the components where we've been able to do both of those pieces so that the filmmaker does not have to leave. So from a location standpoint, there's a tremendous amount of flexibility that then positively affects the budget because you can do a lot in a small area. You couple that with a really robust tax credit that's administered by our state film office that has a really high effective rate, where the percentage that's quoted is really the percentage that you're able to get back. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll hear these really large numbers of tax credits, but it's important for a filmmaker to understand the detail of that. What are the exclusions? Does above the line count? Does non-resident count? All of these things affect what the total amount of money you get back. And if you combine what the inclusions and the exclusions are, you end up with what is the effective rate. And we have a very high effective rate because we have little to none exclusions. And that's very helpful when you're trying to put together a budget. So between the business certainty of the budget, the variety and great alacrity in the looks, the stunningly beautiful things that would be the blue sky elements, and then, of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention some of the best crews in the world, certainly some of the best watermen in the world and waterwomen, but crews that have worked on Oscar-winning shows with talent from around the world are then the crews that would be able to work on any project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that you talk about that versatility, because when you hear Hawaii, like what you started off saying by it's beautiful, this, that, like you think of the tropical side, like that's what I think of first, but I don't think about what you're talking about, the Hallmark style of film where it maybe starts someplace cold. You don't think of shooting that shot necessarily first thing first in Hawaii, right?
Absolutely. And in those kinds of movies, we've been nondescript New England cold place before we became the tropical dream. So, but yeah, in Lost, we were everything from Australia to Korea to Afghanistan to Iraq to LA and New York. And so, yeah, it was a wonderful creative exercise that just fueled what we could do in the future.
Especially the talent. I love that the talent's there. The talent it's there. Like I've heard, that's one of the feedback that I've heard from some filmmakers is that's why they like working out there as well. It's just the talent. Like they want to work. They're great. They're many times highly experienced. They've worked on a lot of things and they're there. You know what I mean? Like they're not going anywhere. So let's keep everybody working.
And that's in front of the camera. Absolutely. In front of the camera and behind the camera. You know, we are such a cosmopolitan melting pot. A lot of people don't necessarily think about that as well, but we had a very short-lived television series for ABC a few years back that was set in South America, and they didn't know if they could cast properly for that television series here, but we were able to because we are such an interesting, diverse cosmopolitan city.
That's great. Well, Walea, this has been absolutely amazing having you on today and getting to know more about what you do and the island and what they have to offer. That being said, if somebody wants to follow up and learn about this commission and the other commission or anywhere else you want to send people, how do people connect?
Oh, thank you for that, Adam. Well, certainly if they want to reach the Honolulu Film Office, if there's any questions they might have, email is always the best way since it's 24/7. That's info@filmhonolulu.com, info@filmhonolulu.com. But if they're curious about film commissions in general and they want to connect to the film commission in their area, there's a terrific organization called the Association of Film Commissioners International. That's ACI.org. And that's a really great starting place to then jump off and find film commissions around the world that have a similar can-do, want-to-help, support production kind of attitude.
Wonderful. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes, so you could just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Yes, you heard me correct. Daily, each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new interviews, and hopefully new inspiration. So we don't want you to miss a thing. Definitely hit that subscribe or follow button. And Walea, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. As we say here, mahalo nui loa. Really appreciate the opportunity.